video, right? Some of you at least. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, very good morning everyone. So how are you all? Good. I see more girls than boys in this batch. Are you inspired by the recent result? Like, so even in my experience, I am seeing more girls are entering into civil services, into preparation as well as into services. This time we had 320 female candidates, right? Clearing UPSC civil service 22 examination. That's a very good development, and in top 10 we are seeing at least 4 to 5 female candidates nowadays. So in this orientation I am going to talk briefly about what you need to do and what we are going to do, right? But having come with a dream, like everybody sitting in this room wants to be an IAS officer. Some of you maybe want to be an IPS also. Anybody IPS? Oh, good. Very few. Indian Foreign Service, right? See, we are talking about IAS, IPS, and Indian Foreign Service, all big services. Huh? What?
Anything we get.
Actually, you want? Fine. So morning, I was going through my Twitter feed. So there was one topper, rank 51 in 2016 or 17, I guess. Manoj Jindal. Yeah, you might have. So he is a very active Twitter participant. Like, he always writes sensible content. So not about himself or anything, about opinions regarding the exam. So morning I was going through. This morning itself he has written an opinion that this glamorization of civil services should be stopped. So how to stop? So he has given certain suggestion that instead of announcing ranks like 1, 2, 3, 4, UPSC should just announce their name and services. IAS, alphabetical names, IAS 180 posts are there, right? Alphabetically announce their name and tell the world that they have got IAS. So it was a very sensible suggestion. Now what has happened is that some people, because of this glamorization, right? I have seen people inspired by movie Prithvi, Kannada, Punit Rajkumar movie, right? Prithvi. Some of them are inspired by Singham type police officers, that they want to be IPS, Lati wielding officers, chasing public on the street, and some of them are inspired by another type of Singhams who were Singham in police and then went on to become Singham in politics, right? Some of you want to be like that. So these kind of motivations which are derived from Instagram reels, social media posts, right, are very short lived. Now this year Prelims 2023, how many of you saw the paper? Oh, excellent. So majority of you have seen the paper. So what was the feeling? I am sure like you didn't know answers to most of the questions, but you would have just glanced through the questions and might have read opinion about the paper circulating on social media. So what do you think? Did you feel like quitting the UPSC or?
Standards of the questions are like really good.
Very good. So she is saying standard of the question is very good. So what was, anybody if you can share your feeling, what was your feeling? What did you feel like, what did you think when you saw the paper?
CSAT is better.
CSAT was slightly better. Okay. What about others? Time? It's time consuming. So okay. Very good. So what he's saying is that if you want to find out correct answer, you should accurately, certainly know about all the options. Even if you don't know one of the options, it is gone. You cannot answer the question through elimination. So we saw the popular tagline this year that elimination is eliminated, right? So you cannot eliminate options based on certain wide logic or wild guesses. you have to, yeah, half knowledge doesn't work. You have to know the options. You have to have certainty in what you actually know, right? So I'll discuss about these things. Now, why I came up with this topic is that now the examination itself is evolving. UPSC examination itself is evolving. It has become dynamic. The exam wants such candidates, smart candidates, who can be flexible, who can be adaptable, right? Who have strong presence of mind, who are very strong, even when there is lots of pressure around them, right? So who are flexible in such a way that they adapt quickly to the situation and take decisions quickly. So these are some of the qualities which are actually being tested in all the 3 stages of the examination, right? Now unfortunately what is happening, when you come with a notion, like for example, whenever people come for admission, some of you meet me maybe for counseling or for some other reason. So I ask a simple question: how many of you have the habit of reading newspapers, right? So in this crowd, how many of you have the reading habit, newspaper reading habit? Okay, when did you start? You? No, behind you, yes. Acha, you reading for like more than 1 year now. So most of them would say that I am yet to start reading newspapers, even if they have read maybe from 3rd year of their graduation, right? Reading some NCERTs randomly and starting newspaper reading. And there are some candidates, so I don't like to demean, I am not demeaning anyone. So they have this childhood dream of UPSC. Since in childhood they have harbored this dream of cracking UPSC and becoming IAS officers. They have thought about it, dreamt about it so many times, but they also do not have the newspaper reading habit. So despite dreaming so much about UPSC, a very simple thing for UPSC, a very fundamental thing that must be done is developing strong newspaper reading habit. If that is not there, you are not going to crack this examination, right? You should be in a position, right? This is number 1 point of this orientation. You have to start by developing strong reading habit, especially hard copy of the newspaper. For most of you, it will take few hours to understand what is communicated, what is written in newspapers, but ensure that in the beginning, first 1 or 2 months, you read newspaper, The Hindu, end to end, right? It can be political news, it can be crime news, it can be sports news, it can be entertainment news, it can be any national news, policy related news. Don't miss a single article in the beginning, right? So let it take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So don't worry about time, right? If you don't develop strong reading habit, especially newspaper, later reading habit, reading of certain books outside the UPSC syllabus, right? What is education? Basically, education is not memorization of facts. Education is not an exercise in just gaining the knowledge. Education is training your mind to think, right? Unfortunately, our higher education, our school education do not train us to think. It does occasionally whenever some competitions are conducted, but on a regular basis, in day-to-day basis in classroom, our education do not train you to think. Think independently, think individually, think originally. Now this examination is moving in this direction where it wants candidates to be original. They have the ability to think with an open mind, think originally, and these qualities are being tested. Earlier they were tested in mains, before that in interview, then it came to mains through essay and ethics paper, right? And also giving more open-ended, more opinion-based questions in mains, GS 1, 2, 3. Now it has come to prelims as well, right? Now if you don't develop these skills, you are out of the competition, you are not in the competition, right? You may settle down with other group B, group C examination, but if you want to be an IAS, IPS, strong reading habit in an independent manner is a must. Now why I am stressing in the very beginning, I haven't done this in my previous orientations. So why I am doing it, some people when you start reading newspaper, you slowly get discouraged, right? and then what happens, you try to go with available videos like ready-made current affairs, maybe from our website, another website, right, that should be read, but only after reading the original newspaper as a revision, right, maybe to get the crux of the issue, to read the summary of the issue, but not never depend on any ready-made current affairs as your sole source of current affairs, or don't chase these YouTube channels, so where people do editorial analysis. See, this editorial analysis which a person is doing, right, should be done by yourself. You should develop that kind of competence. You should be in a position to read editorials, analyze them, understand them, retain the arguments made in the editorial, and then you should develop ability to use them in your day-to-day communication, in your answer writing, in your essay, and of course when the interview comes, you should be in a position to articulate them very clearly, these opinions, and these opinions must be your own opinion, right. So whatever author may be giving opinion in the articles, what I have noticed in UPSC interview is that they reward handsomely original opinion. Doesn't matter it is pro-government, anti-government, but if your argument is your argument backed by what? Evidences, facts, examples. So it is handsomely rewarded in the interview. So nowadays interview, what they expect is that conviction. What is conviction? Conviction is strong belief in your opinion, right. It is not one-sided opinion, but it is a strong belief in a particular opinion because you have so many reasons to back your belief, back your opinion. So that kind of opinion when you express in the interview, it is rewarded. Earlier there was a time, people would tell you, give positive answer, negative answer, both sides of the answer. So that is not rewarded. You need to have a strong opinion which is logical, right, which is within the purview of the so-called constitution, I mean constitutional morality, social morality, these concepts you will read eventually. So within the legal boundary, those kind of opinions you cannot think on your own and develop. Please come. So you need to develop, you will develop only when you start reading original, primary, standard sources, right. So I am not discouraging. See, I know that people are coming from rural background, people are coming from not so good education institutions, but doesn't matter. Everyone will take their own time, right. If somebody has come from a very good institution, so they might take less time to gain the momentum, go to the depth of the examination requirement. If somebody is not coming from so good background, eventually you will also reach their standard, but it might take few months extra for you. The point you need to remember is that you should not give up, right. So I have seen people, they try to write one single answer, because here at Insight says, as you know, from day one we are going to make you write answers from very first class, and then every week there is going to be a mains test as well as prelims test, and the mains test will be evaluated, right. Most of the fees which you have paid, it actually goes into evaluating these answers, and also there will be a mentor for you. For every 40-50 students we are going to give you a mentor. Once in a week you can meet your mentor and show them your answers. So you can get them evaluated individually. You can sit in front of them, you can discuss your doubts, you can discuss strategy, you can discuss how to write, all these things, what to read, how to read, everything. So there are experienced mentors, including the faculties. Faculties also act as mentors, and also there are dedicated mentors. In addition to your dedicated mentors, you can also meet faculties, right. So there is this flexibility, okay. So now when you write your first answer, some of you will write very poor answer, right, bad answers. Some of you will not write any answer because you don't know how to start. You don't know what to write in the introduction, you don't know what to write in the body. Of course, if you are not writing introduction and body, you don't know what to write in the conclusion. So these are common problems, these are natural problems in the very beginning everyone faces. Now we have a mentorship program, we have faculties who act as mentors, and you have me as mentor also, right. I am also coming there in my cabin, sitting every day whenever I am in Bangalore, evaluating answers, evaluating essays, discussing strategy, giving you future direction. Those who come and seek that, we are available. So when you come to us, we don't judge you because you have written a poor answer, right? We tell you that what you have written is irrelevant, what you have written is poor answer, maybe grammatically incorrect, handwriting may be very poor, and the content what you have written may not be decent, may not be good, may not be to the required level, right? But we tell you in a very polite, encouraging, constructive manner, so that you come again with another answer. But if you don't write anything, you will never come to us. One of the reason why many people don't come to mentors, don't come to me is that one is fear, right? Fear that they may not be doing the right things, may not be following the classes, may not be reading, may not be understanding. So don't judge yourself in the very beginning of this journey. Give yourself space, give yourself enough room, enough time, right? So understand slowly, it is okay. For example, some people take reading one chapter in NCERT few hours, right? Some people take more days than what others are doing. Some people can read entire NCERT book within 1 or 2 hours. Some people will take 2-3 more days. It is perfectly fine. So don't compare with your peer in your reading room or in your class, right? Because just because they are reading fast, moving ahead fast, doesn't mean that, right, you are lagging behind, right? There comes a point where everyone will be equal. So this is the beauty of this journey. So what is the meaning of this? When I say that everyone reaches a point, for example, in preliminary examination, right? Now the highest score in this preliminary examination that I am hearing from candidates, those who gave prelims this year, is 95 to 100. Earlier there used to be a time they would come and very proudly say that I am scoring 120, 130, 140. Now I am not hearing that kind of scores. Like only 2 people have told me they are scoring above 100 this time, right? I have interacted with hundreds of people, right? Immediately after prelims they come to share their experience. Only 2 people have told me so far. So most of the scores which will get them through prelims are lying in the range of 85 to 100. So now the point here is that, so that is the level one can achieve ultimately. Doesn't matter how well they have read, how many books they have read, right? How much they have understood, what kind of notes they have made. In prelims, it is nearly impossible in the current scenario to score 110 plus. Now they are stuck there, 110 plus, right? So you may be stuck at 60, 50, 70, right? So you are moving ahead slowly, 80, 90, 100, right? The moment you reach 110, you have achieved their level. They are again not moving ahead now. Similarly in mains also, similarly in the interview also. In the interview it's a different game, but mains also, that highest marks in mains this year is 901. Rank 1, her entire main score including optional essay and all 4 GS paper is 901. Last year it was 920 something, right? The second highest score is around 880 or 878, right? Third highest is around 850 something. So now out of 1750 marks, the rank 1, all India rank 1, the highest score is 901. What does it mean? They cannot score 1000, 1200 like in your university exams or college exams, 1300, 1400, right? So she has set a benchmark 901, right? So now it is an open field for everyone. So that benchmark, you can reach that benchmark or you can break that benchmark slightly. Maybe you can score 20 or 30 marks more than that benchmark. It is a possibility for everyone. To achieve that, right, what it takes, I started with the original point, developing strong independent reading habit. Second one, hunger for knowledge, right? Hunger for knowledge is essential. Hunger for knowledge starts with curiosity. Now don't take anything that is given in the class, anything that is given in the NCERT, anything that is given in any form of notes as an end in itself, right? Did you get the point? When I say don't take it as an end in itself, that is not the end of the content or syllabus, right? You have to be curious, you have to have hunger for knowledge, you have to do little bit extra, 10-20% extra for every topic, every subject that is going to be taught for you people, right? So that 10-20% extra, the quality of that knowledge that which you gain will decide your success in this examination. How many of you got this point? Because this is very important. The reason I am saying is that you get stressed, you get burdened only by what is already taught in the class. You already, some people say that what is already given in the class itself is huge, because every teacher will make you write notes for every subject, and it is quite exhaustive. They refer to various standard textbooks, and they bring lot of content. Every subject I have seen that they run into hundreds of pages, right? But that should not be end in itself. Teacher might say sometime it is enough, right? But I personally believe is that after writing down notes, after revising and reading that notes, you should go back and put your extra effort in reading standard textbooks, right? And now you can ask a question like, should I do research about it? Does it mean doing research about these topics? No, I am not asking you to do research. There is a boundary for it. There are two boundaries in the examination. One is the topics that are mentioned in the NCERT. That is your descriptive boundary. For example, in mains they have mentioned art and culture from ancient to modern times, right? In syllabus, I have seen the main syllabus. General Studies paper 1, they have mentioned art and culture from ancient to modern times. That's it. They haven't given any other subtopic for you to read. So now NCERT, any art and culture topic from class 6th or 5th to 12th. So those are the topics that you have to give utmost importance. But the topics which are given in school textbook, these are the school textbooks, class 6 to class 12th, and your graduates, post-graduates, and you are writing an exam which requires honors level knowledge, especially in optional, but slightly in general studies as well. So you have to dig deeper into the same topics. You are getting this point. Every topic that is mentioned in the NCERT, you have to dig deeper. Now to dig deeper, how will you know that to what depth I have to dig them deep? So for that, 25 years of prelims question papers plus 10 years of mains question papers. If someone sitting in this room is aiming for rank 1 or any rank in top 10, next 2 to 3 months, right? So try to be thorough with last 25 years prelims question papers, last 10 years mains question papers. If you memorize each and every keyword in last 25 year prelims, 10 years mains papers, you have already won half the battle in this journey. So now you might ask a question, okay, geography will be happening to us. How can you expect to read questions of other subjects? You can actually do it. It is just a mindset, it is just a limit that you have put in the mind, right? There is another way, as and when the subject happens, you do 25-year questions of that particular subject itself. Whether the subject is already taught, some topics are yet to be taught, doesn't matter. For example, if you are starting with modern India for you, anybody who is ambitious in this room, right, I expect you to memorize each and every keyword, each and every name, each and every event, each and every date, each and every any personality, right, that is our place given in the last 25 years modern history questions, right. Memorize them, thoroughly memorize them. In the class, you will know that this topic is important. When you read NCERT and when you read standard book, you will know that these are the topics important. If you are thorough with last 25 years prelims papers of each and every subject, cracking next year prelims is going to be very easy. Very easy. It means like you are actually, you will crack prelims hands down, right. So for every subject, ensure that this is going to be done. One NCERT, second is previous year questions. Someone will tell you do prelims questions from last 10 years, 2013 to 2023, something like that. No, I am again repeating 25 years, right. 25 years. 25 years questions of all the static topics. There may be some current affairs, something in 1995, some current affairs of that time. You can ignore them. But if that current affair is related to environment, for example, it is still relevant even today also. You got it? So these two things anybody who does, independently. So some previous year questions in the classroom we will be giving you as part of the test. Teacher will explain you. In fact, every topic they teach, we explain with some previous year questions, but they may not do each and every question, right? So you have to ensure that you buy those books and be thorough with all of them. Okay. Now the third point is that when you are moving ahead, with this preparation, so there is always a race between people, right? Some of you will answer some questions in classroom, some of you will take time to answer, some of you will not answer. So how many of you have the courage to answer questions in the classroom when a teacher asks? Good. So those who didn't raise your hands, right, must participate. Everything results in you doing good or bad in the interview. This journey which is starting from today for you, right, should ideally end with a very good marks in interview. Now if you don't have courage to speak in the classroom, right, if you don't have courage to raise your hands, ask a question or answer a question, you can either ask a question or answer a question, or you can give opinion also, right? If you don't develop this particular skill, I am telling you on your face in a straightforward manner that you are not going to crack this examination. It takes personality, it takes confidence, it takes being assertive, right, in the interview. So in most of the orientation I haven't seen, but very few people or no one will tell you about interview as part of the UPSC journey, right? Now I have analyzed top 100 scores, top 100 rankers and their interview scores. Except for 2 people, everybody has score above 170, except 3 people, right? Except 3 toppers in top 100, everyone has score above 170. 170 to 190 is kind of above average score, right? And again, those who have 190 plus and 200 plus are more in number than those who are below 190. So what it actually indicates is that scoring 190 plus in interview is kind of sure shot way of getting a rank, but if your mains marks are decent, it is a surest way of getting one of the top 3 services. And I am someone who is part of this interview process, now not as a panel member in UPSC, but somebody who guides people for UPSC interview, right? So you might have heard in my previous orientation if you have listened. So this year I conducted one-on-one mock interviews for 600 candidates. 600 candidates who got selected for UPSC, not mains, UPSC interview. Those who cleared mains, right? So that is a huge experience, interacting with 600 candidates from every nook and corner of the country, right? From Northeast, from Jammu Kashmir, from almost every state. But what I have noticed is that Karnataka students have particular problem, right, of being too humble, right? Humility is our hallmark, we accept everyone, everything, we say yes, right? So that lack of assertion, I am not generalizing, I am not talking about everyone, it varies from one's background, right? If somebody, for example, what do I mean by background? If somebody has been very active in college activities like leadership roles, extracurriculars, so they definitely sound more assertive, right? But if somebody was not taking part in those kind of activities, just just focused on education or like so-called padaku or something, just studious, and you have a different word for that, I know, right? Which you will hear in modern India, right? So if you are that kind of type, you have to go through metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? Biology. Yeah. What is metamorphosis? What? Transformation. So what is transformation? Yeah. Yeah, metamorphosis, you have the larvae, then it becomes butterfly, right? So you have to become butterfly, right? So butterfly in a sense that somebody who has open mind, somebody who can, fly in a way that feel free to express your views, you have to go through the transformation. If you are not going through the transformation, right, don't ever believe that just scoring highest marks in mains is going to get you good rank. That also I analyzed. Rank 45, right, her marks in mains is 820, marks 820, interview marks is 198, right, mains marks is 820, interview marks is 198. Because of 198 she is rank 41, and there is rank 406, her marks is 818, and interview marks is 143. Because of interview marks of 143, now she is going to get either IRS or maybe Indian Audit and Account Service, right. If she is a general candidate, that also I checked, because if you see the PDF, have you seen that PDF where UPSC has released topper roll number, topper, right, their mains marks, their interview marks, and their category is written. So now when you score 143, so 143 is a nice way of telling UPSC, 143, right. So you are used to 143, right? 243 also. What is 243? No, 143 is I love you. That's what I'm talking about. Which college you went?
I know, I'm telling 243.
अच्छा ठीक है. Okay, IA.
243 in interview, right?
ठीक है. No, 243 they have never given to anyone, because maybe you might score, who knows. Right. So of course, I mean, if somebody has scored 143, that doesn't mean they have a poor personality or they have a weak personality, right. So in some cases what it means is that, so they might not have prepared well for the interview process, the whole process is new to them, right. So when the whole process is new to them, suddenly even if the personality is bold and have been through all whatever I mentioned extracurricular, sometime the UPSC interview is not like a corporate interview, right. The kind of questions they ask are totally intended to understand you as a person for the suitability to the job of IAS and IPS. So when they are asking multiple opinion based open-ended questions, it requires one, your ability to communicate your ideas freely, openly, clearly, assertively, confidently, and that you have to develop. So some people are from English medium but cannot speak English. So that is beauty of English medium schools in Karnataka, right. No, like for example, I come from Navodaya school. I studied in Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya from class 6 to class 12th. It was a proper CBSE English medium school, but Hindi was there, but we were never able to communicate in English because all are from rural areas. So we had gangs of students and we would communicate in our own local dialect, Kannada. The teacher, somebody from Kerala, somebody from Assam, those who were there, they would either speak Hindi or Kerala people would always speak English, right. They would also encourage us to speak in English. So there were few days when principal would make it compulsory that you should speak only in English. But when you make it compulsory, it doesn't work, right. You have to create that environment where everyone is speaking English, something like that. But I am proud that we actually spoke in pure Kannada in school and then later learned speaking in English. So till I started in 2014, I was unable to speak in English fluently. English was there in mind. I could write very well. In fact, I scored one of the highest marks. I used to score some kind of highest marks in essay writing. So when I was writing mains, but spoken English, but with broken English also I scored 210 in interview actually, right. I scored actually 210 marks in UPSC interview in 2010. No, GS, you check the Twitter. So I have scored very poor marks, right. So I scored 210 in interview. That was out of 300. That is equivalent to 193 or 198 in the present score. But only 20 people were given above 200 in that year, right. So what UPSC saw in me was that English was not like that poor. English was decent enough, but it was not very fluent. So what they saw was the content, what they saw was the intent, what they saw was the maybe simplicity, yes, personality, right. and maybe they were convinced. So they wanted me to be in top 3. Like, when they give 200 plus, 190 plus, that means no, top 3 services, not top 10. So that didn't happen. So that's a different story. Now when I am doing mock interviews, what I see is that students know English, but they cannot communicate. So those who have that kind of problem, right, immediately start conversing in English, both in your room, like wherever an opportunity is there. So only by speaking English with each other, you can start speaking in English, right? So that is, it's a really big problem. You have ideas, you have knowledge, because after writing mains and clearing mains, nobody can doubt about your knowledge, right? But having that knowledge within you, if you cannot sell that knowledge, if you cannot communicate that knowledge, right, what is the point? So anyone who is facing that problem, make a friend with those who can really speak well English, boys and boys and girls and girls.
Why like that?
Huh?
Why like that?
Acha, you can make if you want, but no, I mean, just I'm doing comedy here. Like, there is no restriction here. It is not a school or college, right? You are free to make friends with anyone here, but ensure that it remains.
Only into
No, ensure that it remains friendship, right? So that you make it professional in a way that I see that is another point of orientation also, because so I have spoken with parents, I have seen, so students who come and they come in openly communicate some of their issues. After a few months, after a few years, they come and openly communicate. Why you have come here, you should know very well. So why you have come here?
into services.
To get into services. Okay. To become a better person also. Very good. So all of you want to be? Of course, IAS, IPS, and some of you want to be IFS. Any IFS here? Indian Foreign Service? You? Okay. You. So it's okay, rise. 4, 5, very good. Good. So why do you want to become IFS?
Opportunity to interact with people.
Okay, you like to interact with people.
Yeah, and put across, get some insights.
Insights is there.
And implement it for our country.
Oh, very good. Nice. Good answer. So what about us? What about you? No, behind you, yes. Huh?
I feel some international relations is becoming very modern in the present.
Mm.
I want to actually represent my country and participate.
Very good. So he's saying IR has become, international relations is becoming very important. The global issues are becoming more important nowadays. So you would like to represent India and be part of those, resolving those issues basically. The last person who raised hands, who raised your hand? IFS. Yeah, you. Why? Parvailla. Why do you want to become IFS? Same as his answer. Of course it will be same. Good.
Even to promote our culture.
Acha, very good. You would like to, you want to be in IFS. You would like to promote our culture. Nice. Okay. So I can ask question, like if it is, I like this kind of answer. My next question in mock interview would have been, so what aspects of Indian culture that you would like to prominently promote on the world stage, right? So what would be your answer?
Especially dance.
Okay. Classical dance.
Yeah. And even Ayurveda.
Okay. Okay. Good. So during COVID we saw that, right? Indian culture getting promoted, and this government has done so well to promote Indian culture on global stage. Yoga and Ayurveda, Ayush and all. So it is all prominent. International Yoga Day we do. 21st? Very good. Nice. What do we have on 5th June?
Environment.
Very good. So you are into quiz competitions in
Yeah. All-rounder.
all rounder. Which college?
In Banana.
Ballari. Okay. Nice. So Ballari, Republic of Ballari, you know?
Yeah.
Republic of Ballari. You don't know? Fine. Anybody from Ballari here? You know about Republic of Bellary? You don't know? Okay, forget it. You can later Google it. What is Republic of Bellary? Right. So now coming back to orientation. Right. What else you would like to hear from me? There are so many things. I can go on and on. Yes.
You mentioned we have to solve 25 years papers.
Hmm.
So, how do you suggest that we make time to do that?
So I'll talk about it. So what should be there in your day to day, I'll talk about it. Okay. So now let us go back to prelims paper this year. So when we think of prelims, it has two papers. As you know, one is general studies, paper 1, and another one is civil services aptitude test. So in 2011 they introduced the CSAT paper, right? So for 2-3 years even the CSAT marks was also counted, right? So that marks was counted as well as it was not qualifying. It was the cutoff was decided based on the CSAT score as well as the GS score. And then UPSC started seeing that engineers and those who had cracked CAT would score 190, 195 out of 200 in CSAT paper and 30, 40 in GS paper, and they would go on to clear prelims, and they made it qualifying in nature. So 66.6 marks, and they had given a sample questions when they announced introduction of CSAT, so that may be there somewhere in the internet. Maybe on our website also it may be there if you go back to 2011, right? So if you look at those questions, you will laugh at those questions now, right? You will actually laugh at those questions because you can just solve like this. They are very, very simple questions. And UPSC said that 10th level mathematics, 10th level aptitude skills, and these are the kind of questions that would be asked. So in fact for next 6 to 7 years, those are the kind of questions we were getting. Now this year and last year, suddenly the nature of aptitude questions, especially both comprehension and both quant questions, they have become more difficult, right? Now, as I have seen, you also come from different backgrounds, different disciplines, academic disciplines, somebody from humanities, somebody from commerce, engineering, medical science, and I have seen people from medical science, those who got top ranks in NEET and got into top colleges have failed in the CSAT paper, right? Those who are from IIT, computer science, or even mathematics, it has happened, integrated mathematics 5 years, one guy from IIT Kharagpur, he failed in CSAT. So they were failing in CSAT not because of lack of aptitude, problem solving skills, because they had taken it for granted. That okay, my aptitude is anyway good, right? I can just walk in and solve it. So that category of students have been taught a lesson that don't take CSAT lightly, practice it as you would practice any other paper of UPSC which is not qualifying. And another category, those who come from humanities background or even science background, who were never exposed to these kind of questions, right? You have to start taking CSAT very seriously. We have a good faculty for CSAT. We have 2 faculties for you. They will teach everything, right? But it will be intermittent, not everyday classes. But my suggestion for you, the third most important point is that every day, irrespective of whether they are going to teach or not, 1 hour compulsory for CSAT. Don't take it for granted. You may be really brilliant. Even this year also one boy from IIT Madras, he was in the last OGP. Anyway, luckily he is clearing. So when he came and told me that, I used to ask, okay, what about your CSAT preparation? He would meet regularly for essay evaluation. So I'd say I'm confident in mock test, I'm scoring 120, 130, 110, on an average 110 plus. So I told him don't rely only on mock test and previous year UPSC question papers. I would tell him, try to solve CAT level questions, GMAT, right, SBI PO exam questions now and then. Maybe he did something, but in the real examination, he was actually shocked. He was not able to solve more than 45 questions, whereas he was doing more than 55 questions in mock tests. So that also came as a reality check, as a shocker. So he is clearing CSAT by only by maybe 3-4 marks, right? Now all of you, No, not because of English. You should have strong quant ability, quantitative, solving quantitative questions, quant skills. So you take, for you people, those who have joined starting afresh, you can start with previous year CSAT papers, right? So try to complete last 2011 to 2022, like 12 years papers in next 1 to 2 months, right, independently. You will have somebody who can solve these questions, and there are n number of guides available, solved question banks for CSAT, right, on website, it is available. So independently, right, you have to start solving them. Start with 2011, don't start with 2023 paper, you will get discouraged. So start from the basic papers, right, and then once you have done these papers, right, your CSAT teacher will also tell you to solve NCERT or state syllabus mathematics books of class 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is true, right? Maths from 3rd standard to 8th standard. It is always going back to basics, this entire journey, right? Once your basics are strong, once your fundamentals are strong, then you can solve any kind of questions. So when these things are told to students, they take these things lightly. So advanced calculus, integration, differentiation, you can solve these questions, I know that, right? But sometimes we ignore basics also. So this also parallelly you try to do it. So once you have done these two exercises, then you move to questions from standard exams, I mean slightly difficult questions from CAT, SBI PO, right? Now when you prepare yourself, when you train your mind, your skills to the level of solving CAT questions, it's a wonderful thing actually, right? You have a backup plan also, right? In a way you have to do that. So this brings me to the fourth argument that you see, I have seen so many people part of this journey, coming, going. Few people become toppers, majority they don't crack the examination, right? So they get into different jobs. Some people are stuck here like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So my sincere suggestion for all of you is that try for 2 years. At Insights IAS, you will get an opportunity to give everything you have, the most intense preparation you can do. That will happen from now till September next year. Every day literally 12 to 14 hours of preparation. You have to give everything, you have to dedicate yourself for this without thinking about anything else, right? So if you clear prelims next attempt, and September is going to be mains will be conducted in month of September. After writing mains, you have to do one of the two things, either go and get a job or get into higher education. For example, if you have done BSc Agri, again higher education doesn't mean in your own discipline, right? So now thankfully because of the world we are living in, dynamic world, new kinds of jobs are created, new kinds of courses are coming up, and IITs have started humanities courses, right? IIMs have started technology courses, humanities courses. All top institutions have come up with 1 year master degree. Even NLS has some good courses on policies, environmental policy, cyber security policy, right? So you can enroll to such kind of course next after giving 2 years here. Have this plan ready beforehand. I am not saying that you have to quit UPSC preparation. I am not asking you to quit UPSC preparation. You should not quit until you get the rank, but after 1 or 2 years, ideally 2 years, get into, if you don't crack it in one attempt, right? If you crack it, well and good. If you don't crack it, have a backup, either job or higher education, and then continue preparation. If the preparation is intense, now if you are given 12 to 14 hours, so you will create notes for every topic in the syllabus, every subject in the syllabus, right? And if you have solved 25 year of papers, and then in addition to that, you will be given thousands of questions from our end, both for prelims and mains. And if you have solved those many questions, and if you have completed optional, in your next attempt you will not have so much to do actually. You just have to update these notes based on the current affairs. Anything that is relevant happening in current affairs. For example, modern history, if something is happening related to modern history in current affairs, update it. Similarly for all the subjects. So that won't take much of your time. You will be reading current affairs, you are updating your static notes and enroll to a test series, right? Prelims or mains, keep writing your answers. So that should be done along with your higher education or another job, right? So don't get perpetually forever stuck in the process. And so this is, on the assumption that if you don't crack it in first attempt, right? But I honestly believe if you are at Insights IAS, you can easily crack this examination in one attempt. You have resources, you have all kinds of test series available, and you have teachers for every subject who are good in their subjects, who are approachable, who teach well, and you have so many classrooms. If you want to come and practice, in and out, we have a reading room system, we have a mentorship, and you have me, including me. I sit, I don't assume myself as a director, founder, and behave like that. So I assume I am one of the part of the institution, the integral part of the learning process, right? So I am also actively involved in guiding you people. So especially in maybe in strategy and in entire strategy, or in essay, ethics and interview. So whenever you have doubts in this, you can approach your mentors, teachers, but for second opinion or even for primary opinion, you can come to me also. So the more you keep yourself in touch with your mentors or me in this journey, right, and your hard work complemented with right feedback, right guidance, will make this journey easy for you. And only if you are working hard without taking feedback, without getting the right guidance, then you may be really working hard, you may be feeling that you are completing things. Sometimes the small issues here and there might impact entire journey. It can be choosing right optional, right? How are you preparing for prelims? You may be preparing, you may be feeling, for example, people have that feeling that I asked after prelims, one girl came and said that she gave everything for prelims. She said that I did everything that had to be done for prelims. I really worked hard, like 14 hours, sometimes 16 hours. So then I said, what exactly you did? She said, polity, sir, every subject I have revised at least 9 times, right? Every subject that is part of the syllabus I have revised at least 9 times. Okay, what else you did? So I also solved like 10 to 15 mock tests, step up and other things. So I paused her, right? I told her, so this is where you went wrong. Just merely revising, reading, memorizing entire book is not preparing for the examination, right? There is something called skill component, right? Skill, something analytical, critical thinking skill. So that will come only when you keep applying the knowledge you have gained again and again. I told her, if you go back and watch one of my videos, a session where in July I conducted immediately after prelims, I told people to solve 20,000 MCQs before their next year prelims, right? Now what you are saying is that you might have solved like 1,500 questions. That is insufficient. You also have the similar target. You have those many questions. You might ask, where do we get those questions, right? If you visit our website, there are quiz sections. There is static quiz, there is current affair quiz. Every month in current affairs we post 500 current affair questions. Every day 20 questions, excluding Sundays, nearly 500 current affair questions, right? And of course they include economy, environment, right? Anything related to defense, security, which are part of the mains. Secondly, static quiz. Every day, at least for last 5 to 6, we are posting 5 questions every day. So there is a repository of questions on the website freely available. If you just go to the download section, if you download, right, app is also there, Android app you can install. Make it a habit to visit our website regularly to solve these questions. So every day you can do 25 questions. In the classroom they are going to give you 5 to 10 questions. And I asked you to do previous year questions. So minimum 50 MCQs every day, right? If you do minimum 50 MCQs every day, in a month how many you are going to do? $1,500, right? So you have how many months? 11 months, right? So 50 questions now, but if somebody has watched my video 1 month before prelims, right? I told people to do 400 questions in a day. 1 month before, 400 questions in a day, 400 questions related to basics for 15 days. Just 15 days before the exam, only previous year questions, right? So this 50 question is not static; it will go on increasing. You will give weekly tests, right? And then you will be given access to 2 test series, one textbook based and one other subject wise based, which are 100 question each. From our end itself, you will be getting thousands of questions. So if you solve all these questions on a regular basis, right, you will actually exceed more than 20,000 questions. So ensure that any test we are giving, any question we are giving is compulsorily solved. Do you have that confidence? Yes. No, I didn't hear any yes. Yes. Okay. So I ask this question in every class. People tell yes in every class, right? And then they always want to stay larva, right? In their cocoon. In their cocoon, cocoon. So they want to stay in the safe zone, they don't want to come and fly. I don't understand this reason, and again I have been trying to find reason with each orientation. Why people, despite telling everything that I have told in my class, if you do them, you will actually get first rank. But everyone will not do them. It is not possible for everyone to do this. Can you give me reasons why? Strong commitment and dedication is. Every day cannot be the same day for everyone.
Because there are many situations we have to handle.
Clarity of
Many situations you need to handle. Yes.
if there is clarity of thought that what they want exactly, then they need time to
Okay.
come over it.
Unexpected situations.
Okay. After you two silent. Others, what are the reasons? People lack perseverance. Okay. Then people stay in comfort zone. Exactly. Good. So why do they stay in comfort zone, knowing that they want to become IAS? They are used to that. Good. It is a very good answer. They are used to it actually. So this journey which you are going to start is a totally new journey, right? Many of you are not aware of it. Many of you are not aware of it, that what you are going to do from today onwards is something totally new, especially in one reason, right? In your engineering days, in your BSc, BCom, BA days, medical days, right? How you are habituated from school days to your graduation days is that read intensely just before the exam, right? 4 hours, maybe 6 hours, right? Maybe 8 hours. So I keep hearing, this 12th toppers, NEET toppers, they say like 6 to 8 hours I used to study, right? But majority of you just before the examination. So rest of the academic year, what? You actually you didn't do that, right? After your class, engineering class, will you go back home, take seriously all the books, read, make notes, prepare for the internal, that is, you don't do, right? Only after announcement of the dates, you will take it seriously. One day before that, borrow notes or something, then you do it. Now, that is the biggest shock that is awaiting you here, right? Now that has become an integral part of your personality, that kind of attitude, right? It is not your mistake, because that is how the system was. Now the system that is going to be now is totally different. It is taxing, it demands something from you, that a dedication of that kind throughout the year, throughout this UPSC journey. So when you do it for a week, when you do it for 1 month, you get exhausted here, right? When you do it for even few days, suddenly you start feeling overburdened, right? But find a way not to feel overburdened. If you don't feel overburdened, how do you find a way for that? Simple answer is you have to enjoy this. if you see every learning process not from the examination viewpoint, but from the going back, curiosity and hunger for knowledge perspective. What is to be taught according to the syllabus, we are going to do it. We are not going to do beyond syllabus. And anything extra beyond syllabus, I told you, from newspaper, from non-fiction, fiction book, you can always do. You can watch documentaries also, right? Based on what? Previous year question and NCERT. There is a guide for it. So now, if you can have that stamina going forward to sustain this entire preparation in a consistent manner, right? So I don't mean to say that every day 365 you have to do it. 4 to 5 days in a week also is fine. One day you can take total off if you feel overburdened, but next day you bounce back, right? So maybe in Sunday, every Sunday half day you can take a break also. You can go for a movie, right? You can, in Bangalore there are so many places to visit. You can go for trekking, you can do something, and then you can come back, develop some hobbies and interests. That is also important in interview, right? So find a way to rejuvenate, re-energize yourself, and always come back with fresh energy. If you can keep doing this, right, because everything is going to be done as part of the OGP course, naturally you will see progress, naturally you will see improvement. So your score in first mock test will be 10, 20, some cases minus also. After 6-7 months it will definitely improve to 40, 50 out of 100, and then when we do 200 marks question papers, eventually it will reach 100 maybe by January or February, right? The only thing you need to do is that don't give up. So it is going to be very demanding, I know it, and the class is now full, right? No, in our institution it doesn't become empty, but the numbers slowly get reduced to 60 to 70%, right? So 20-30% give up. They stop attending classes, they stop writing tests, they stop coming to the institution for various reasons. Some genuine reasons may not be able to pay the fees. We can give more time if you want, don't quit. But any other reason apart from fees is your own mistake, right? So how should I label you when you are quitting? If you have a genuine reason, if you lack interest, and if you have clearly decided that you want to quit, that this is not your cup of tea, or this is not your area which you would like to continue, then it is fine. But you have a dream to continue, but you are finding it difficult. So you invent various reasons, justifications, and then you stop attending classes, stop preparing, on and off. So then it is a big mistake. It is injustice to your parents, injustice to your own self, right? Because you have invested their money, and maybe in some cases your own money, whatever it is. And you should not quit, there is an opportunity here. And I say it very proudly and confidently. An institution situated in Bangalore, we have given a good result. We have given first rank, we have given consistently top 10 ranks. So in fact, rank 2 this time thanked me. So she sent a testimonial because I guided her for interview. I took one-on-one before the result itself was out. Yesterday, one boy, his name is Arjun. So he is clearing prelims. He came to my cabin. So he was saying that suddenly, sir, I had come for essay evaluation. You had just finished a mock interview, and you had DAF of one particular candidate. And after doing your mock interview, I was sitting and 2 more students were sitting, and you told us that, showing the DAF, this girl is going to be definitely in top 5. Right? I am mentioning his name because you can verify it. I am not making a story here. So I told them, I didn't remember this, because whenever I come across a potential student, if somebody is sitting in front of me, I will tell them proudly, okay, this student is going to be top 10, top 5, right? So he said that I had predicted she is going to be in top 5 because when I had interacted with her, in the mock interview, half an hour to 40 minutes, maybe usually it is 30 minutes. So I had asked her, about mains, and maybe I had discovered her potential, and I think I had told her you will definitely get 190 plus. She scored 197. So when I come across those students, when I interact with you for half an hour or 45 minutes, it is not by empty talk, maybe looking at your essay, maybe looking at your interview answer, we can actually tell that you are going to be a topper or not, well before you write examination. So that is how the experience here. And if you are not going to make use of this experience, right, and when you have things in front of you, it's a big mistake. And when we were preparing, your uncle, aunties, fathers tell, when they were going to school, college, they didn't have, we have similar story, right? When I was preparing, there were no websites. The Google had arrived in 2004, I started in 2006 to 2011. Internet was there, it was me who actually created this online revolution in UPSC by creating Insights website. So only after we created this website, all your other websites came. There was Vision IAS and there was Mrunal website, but they were only test series, no current affairs, no quiz, nothing. Even today, they don't give Vision and all. So it was Insights which started giving free content, and there are thousands of IAS officers, IPS and all central services who have actually cracked this examination just by following the website. We give everyday answer writing exercise. Do you know the name of it? Secure Initiative, right? So I started in 2013 June, right? So this was a new idea on website, that I started posting questions based on the editorial. Anybody could post their answers, and I used to evaluate. And your Srushti Deshmukh, for example, rank 5. So she was integral part of the Secure Initiative and daily current affairs, right? Like there was one Anu Kumari, rank 2. So she was also part of that. So they sat in their homes and they were able to do it. And now we have created this healthy ecosystem here, where we are accessible, knowledge is accessible, guidance is accessible. If you are not going to make use of it, if you are just attending class, taking notes, going back to your room, just repeating 9-time revisions, you are not going to crack this examination, right? So there is a chance, there is an opportunity in front of you to make it one-time journey, right? So, and again, there is one more thing. I am telling this in the orientation itself. There is something called, a center-related issue, Bangalore Center, for example. So my suggestion, when you crack prelims, before cracking prelims, you have to apply for prelims next year, right? When you feel confident of cracking prelims, right, applying for prelims, put your prelim center as Bangalore, main center outside Bangalore. This I would tell it, during the notification, which will come in the month of February, right? But I am telling you well before, so that somewhere it is imprinted in your head. The reason is that because we started these initiatives, core batch, IPM, super core, main test series, interview guidance, mainly writing practice. So in Bangalore, the crowd is highly competitive, right? For example, even half of this class will go on writing answers every day, weekly, monthly, right? So more or less, as I told, everyone will achieve some level of competency, right? Equal level. So you will start achieving that level. Your essays will start looking similar. Your answers will start looking similar. For example, if there is a question on 1857 revolt, Pradeep sir will give you content, and then you will also go and do research in your standard textbook, and then you will come to mentors, and then you will write them in the mains. So we will tell you, yes, this is good, these many points should be there, or these are the missing points you need to add. So now what is happening? It has created a pool of candidates who are, after certain amount of time, who become equally competent, and all of them are dumped in one classroom when you write mains, right? For example, let us assume that this is the main center. In main center, everybody has done answer writing practice, and everybody is writing equally good answers in GS papers and essay paper. Now this bundle comes to me as to evaluate, right? To whom should I give more marks? Everybody cannot get more marks. It's common sense, right? from evaluator perspective, it all looks similar. Now I assume that this is the minimum level of competency, but the same person who has achieved a very good writing skill, right? If you go to another center where there is diversity, people have not practiced really this art, or maybe even if they have practiced from a different institution, different guidance, right? They have different presentation skill, different structuring skill, maybe different level of example from different sources, right? There is a chance that, and it is happening every year, those I am sending outside Bangalore, they are able to minimum reach interview, right? If I am sending 3 people, 2 of them are ending up with the ranks, right? I am telling this well before, because there are some stubborn people, right, rooted in the strong culture, Bangalore weather, right, Bangalore food, Bangalore idli, right, that they don't want to leave Bangalore, and they keep repeating this attempt, right? So this I used to tell privately when people would come, Now I thought enough is enough. Go to YouTube live and start speaking about it. I did this during this year prelims. No, you have to go out. Even if you stay in Bangalore, the minimum people will stay. No. So you should not think like that, right?
It is a competition we have, saying the interesting or
See, it is only problem with Bangalore center, right? Because insights is here. I mean it actually. In Delhi, we have so many institutions, very good institutions, right? So they have different way of. Some of you may agree or disagree. I don't care, right? And this has been my experience, and this is my duty to tell you, because I want more ranks, right? And I have this mission 100 from Karnataka, right? I want 100 ranks from Karnataka in the next 4 to 5 years. Do everything it takes, right, to get 100 ranks from Karnataka. So it can be things like this, what I just told, to handwriting. If somebody has poor handwriting, you quit the UPSC journey. I mean it, right? Poor handwriting will never help you crack mains, get good marks. So you look at rank 1 handwriting. Have you seen? Has anybody seen this year rank 1 interview? Sorry, marks. Last year also it was good, but even the Tina Dabi handwriting, you have seen her handwriting, right? So if you look at their handwriting, it's the most beautiful handwriting you can see. So I was just going through, somebody shared it on Twitter today. So I don't know if you're able to see it. I don't know if you can see it, like those people who can see. You can zoom your eyes and see. So this is the rank 1 handwriting. I was like, so pleasantly, I was so happy to see such kind of handwriting. Any evaluator who, and the content is great. It's not because of handwriting she has got rank 1. The content is also,
easy to view when you
no, the content is great, right?
handwriting is good, it is easy to view.
Correct, you are right. So the content, when you sell the content, right, in a most pleasing, pleasant manner, right, for an evaluator it is feast. So they show the copy. See, I got the best candidate, here. Now it gives a instant good impression. And when you compliment, you support it with really good content. If it is essay, really good arguments, really good opinions, right, you are going to definitely get. So anybody who has poor handwriting, if you have taken Kannada literature, improve your handwriting, and if it is, of course, most of you are writing in English medium, improve your handwriting, join handwriting classes, right, join it. I'm actually suggesting, it hardly takes 3, 4, 5,000 rupees. There are handwriting classes available, you can Google. So anybody who has poor handwriting, don't ignore this suggestion, right, because see, at the end of the day you are investing lakhs here, right, you are investing thousands of hours into preparation, right. So now how will you let it go waste just because of a small factor, like handwriting, right? And I have those example also. Used to write brilliantly. Even I used to struggle, reading their essays and answers because it was very difficult. And when evaluator goes to UPSC to evaluate, they are given a limited time per copy, right? So they don't have the luxury of evaluating one copy entire day. They are given targets, right? If they have to evaluate one copy within certain minutes, right? So they reward which is pleasing, which is good, which has good presentation skills, good handwriting. So they punish in the sense if they not able to understand or if it is taking too much time to decipher, read, illegible. So then they punish, and UPSC by rule itself also has penalty marks for it. Right? If it is illegible and if you have written something irrelevant, they actually penalize. And if you have written more words also, they penalize. In some marks that you will see that at the end of their all the subjects minus. So last year I saw one candidate minus 35 marks. Right? Minus 35 is equal to 500 ranks. So this year you see you have to closely analyze these marks. 960 marks, right? Interview plus mains 960. There are 16 candidates for 1 mark. 960 is the mark. There are 16 toppers. 16 toppers have same mark. No difference. 1 mark, same mark. Right? So the competition is so tight. So if you lose few marks because of poor handwriting, if you lose few marks because of not completing the paper, right? So you will be out of the race. So imagine entire 1 year hard work going waste. And there are people who get nervous during prelims. It is obvious, it is natural to get nervous, but you can overcome it from the day one. If you focus more on the practice component, if you do rigorous practice every day, any kind of question will never be unfamiliar, new question. So that is why I said 20,000 question. The logic behind 20,000 question is twofold. One, that kind of practice prepares your mind for any type of question. Second one, the more questions you do, the more options you are aware of, right? When you do thousands of questions for one particular topic, you know that if they are given 2 options, 3 options, you know which options are right or wrong, because you have seen, you have practiced those many options, right? If you do from the beginning, see, don't disappoint me in a way that I repeat these things with all the energy, all the motivation, all the good intention in every class. At the end of the day, people don't follow this. So that is the disappointment I am talking about. So what they do is that when I am asking you to do previous year questions now, they come and tell me that 2 months before prelims, 3 months before prelims, they start doing this, or after January they start doing this. So there is no point, right? So this is the guidance. This is the reason precisely why you have chosen insights, right? It is not because you read Google review or some topper or some senior told you, teachers are good and go and enroll. So if you joined insights only because teachers are good, wrong decision, right? Why people join insights is for the good guidance and the answer writing guidance especially, and the interview guidance we give. Basically overall guidance, and the guidance is not one-way process, it is a two-way process. The more you meet, the more you ask questions, the more you interact, right? The path will be clear to you. So follow this. Will you follow? Yes, and I hope those who are watching online also will follow. But because OGP is really a very good dear pet program of Insights IAS. Anybody who is part of OGP, you are treated really specially here, right? Provided you interact. Say, I cannot come to your reading room, right? I cannot, of course, come to your room, wherever you are. I cannot, that is like, what do you call? That is not, not spoon feeding. There is a word in English, no, it is not spoon feeding. That is not a good way to guide also. Falling behind a candidate, not keeping an eye. So, there is a negative. What I am trying to say is that if I, for example, if I choose a candidate, if I ask every day, what are you doing, where are you? So it becomes something, yes, not pampering. What? Do you like that kind of approach? You don't like it, right? Because it curtails your freedom. Even I don't like it. There should be a free space. There should be a freedom. And there are, unfortunately, some people actually do it. Not at Inside IAS. I've seen in other institutions, online channels, waking up people in the morning 4 a.m. Wake up, I have woken up. Right? And then, forcing them to do. It should never be by force.
Impose.
Convince you, yeah, it should not be imposition. So we have to convince you, and you should get convinced. There should be flexibility, but there are certain things you have to compulsorily do. And again, in the journey, what happens is that you can never complete anything 100%. It can be syllabus for the test. It can be a target that you have kept. In a day, I have to do. Be flexible. It's okay to miss out some things today. Right. For example, modern history is taught, and you tell yourself that I will revise the notes, and then whatever chapters are taught, I will go and read from the Spectrum or Bipin Chandra or any other book. So you won't be able to complete all the chapters. Only one chapter you complete. But the target is to complete 4 chapters. Right. What will you do? Everyone is not cool like you, right? So what people do is that they get stressed out. They think that I missed my current affairs, I missed my optional, right? It is perfectly fine. You may miss 1 or 2 tests now and then, 1 or 2 targets now and then, but the intelligent thing to do is that from there move on, right? Just like in life, how we should not be get stuck in the past, right? Carrying the baggage and all. Just, it's okay, leave it. So just move on. In some other day, some other month you will come across, right? Somewhere you will learn it. So learn this attitude of moving on instantly. You fall down, you get up, and you keep running. You score low marks in test, don't think about it, meet us, and then the moment I say meet, mithai aa raha hai. So we have this small tradition of giving chocolates. So you paid, no, you have paid so much fees, no? So for all the fees you have paid, no, one before prelims also will give. So a day before prelims, I conduct a session. So this year also I did. If you can watch it, it's basically a nonsense session, where time pass session, trying to make people feel light and
Stress free.
make them stress free, make them smile, make them feel light hearted just before prelims. So I did that recently. I have some little sense of humor. Now and then it comes out, not regularly. You noticed? Thank you. So when you become familiar, you will see that, okay. Otherwise people think very serious guy. So appearance is like that, but it's not like that. Huh? Because specs. Okay.
That is only outward. Inward is different.
It's okay. 3 days ago a girl came, she had joined batch 1 of OGP last year. She came and she interacted, like she was initially nervous to speak. So then like usually I try to crack joke and then make them comfortable, and she became very comfortable. So she said, I always had this impression that you were like Hitler type, and I never felt, people were telling, some people were, you were friendly and all, but I never knew that you were friendly. So I feel comfortable talking to you, right? So I think people have this perception, maybe because of, I don't know what.
Because they don't know psychology.
They don't know?
They can't read minds.
But everybody cannot be trained, right? All of you got chocolates? So you give to parents also, no? Some parents are sitting. Okay. And now the optional, right? So how many of you have already decided optionals? Good. So, which optional? Geography. Which? Literature. Anybody mathematics here who have decided? No. Electrical engineering? Mechanical engineering? Civil engineering? Zoology? You have decided? So, have you done post graduation or graduation? Graduation. So, if it is graduation, no zoology. Right? And if you have done graduation with a major in zoology, then it's fine if you are good in that. Botany? So, botany, major in botany. Okay. You spoke that day, right? Yeah. Agriculture? Okay. So, agriculture, if it is BSc Agri or Masters, you can go with agriculture. It's a safe optional. Right. But ensure that the learning you do in optional is of Masters level. Okay. So, there is a Thorun, there is a guide, mentor for you, agriculture, you can meet him. And political science? Okay. Sociology? Geography? Okay. Public administration? Not many. Of course, I know half of the class is not yet decided. Kannada literature?
Why there is no English literature in your optional list?
I'll ask. English literature? Okay. Tamil literature?
No, you're not.
Taken Tamil. Telugu? Good. Okay. Any other optional? Philosophy, anyone? Psychology? Taken psychology. Okay, good. Ah, yeah. Anthropology? Okay. Fine. So, see, now what is happening is that you know the trend, except every year what is happening, 1 or 2 individuals in every optional are able to score 300 plus. There are only 1 or 2 individuals in optional. Otherwise, majority of the people who are becoming toppers, so they are scoring in the range of 260 to 290. 260 to 290 is the range of toppers marks in optional, irrespective of whichever optional it is. Right? For example, all the Karnataka toppers I know, including in Kannada literature, rank 501 Dhanush. So he has scored 284 something in Kannada. Right? There is one Banu Prakash with medical science. He has scored around 274 or something. And then PSIR people, same 270 to 280 range. Even geography is also around 280 to 290. So now go with how do you decide optionals, right? The reason I asked about maths and engineering subject, now these optionals do not give returns. No, they may be scoring. The point is that they consume lots of time, right? Any optional that consumes lots of time, you don't go with it. Any optional that you can understand, that you can remember, use in your answers, any optional that you are really comfortable with, which do not come across as a burden, but you enjoy reading it, right? Go with that optional. Geography is good, Kannada literature is good, political science is good, sociology is good, anthropology is good. Philosophy, if you really have deep interest, but I don't recommend philosophy. Psychology is good, provided you really have done masters or something, but you have interest. Okay. Public administration is also a good optional, but in every optional you have to know that if you haven't done graduation or post graduation, it is better to go with coaching. Don't try to do self study in optional, provided you don't have background in it, right? Unfortunately, you have to compulsorily go with coaching because that saves you lots of time. There are, for every optional, there are good teachers available throughout India. In our institution, we do 6 optionals, right? Political science, sociology, geography, anthropology, Kannada literature, and public administration, right? So in addition to this, if somebody wants to go with psychology, there are online guidance available, right? If somebody wants to go with what? I don't know. So other optionals, okay. The literature of other languages, respective states. Mathematics is a very good optional, but it should be, yeah, time consuming. If you have already completed as part of your course, then you can go with it. But as a fresh graduate, if you want to start with a new optional right now as a with mathematics, it is not advisable. You will have to spend 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours in optional to complete, right? But whereas you have to spend literally lots of time for GS to improve answer rating, to improve essay rating. So see, out of 1750 marks in optional, you have 500 marks. So out of 500, your target should be how much? 350 has gone. So rank 1, I think she has got PSIR 317. Right. Yeah. Your target should be 280, 290 in optional. So don't be too ambitious, like 300 plus or anything. 290 till 290 is good. Achieve that much competency, complete the syllabus, read everything, make notes, read standard, compulsorily you have to read standard textbooks, right? And then invest your more time in GS and essay part. So essay, the highest score is 147, 148, right? Any score above 130 plus is a very good score. And ethics, 145 till 145, toppers have scored. 130 plus in ethics is also a good score. So 130 plus 130, how much? 260, right? And if you score 280 in optional, how much? 280 plus 260? 4? CSAT 2 hours for you. 540, right? 540 from optional and essay and ethics. And there are 3 GS papers. So people have scored in GS 1 and 2, they have scored till 130. Let us say 110, 110 for you, right? Paper 3, because of some reasons, like people don't have, they ignore S&T part, they ignore security issues, in some cases environment from mains perspective. The highest score is somewhere 95 to 100 in paper 3. You should be aware of the trend. GS 3 mains. So if you say 90 in GS 3, 110 in GS 1 and 2, how much it comes?
310.
3? So now 310 plus 540, 850, right? Now remember this magic figure, 850. If you score 850 in mains plus 170 in interview, your rank is in top 20, right? 850, you can see 850 plus 170, I am just above the average, right? And if you score 200 plus, 100% top 5. So starting this journey, you should have these numbers in your mind. Prelims 95 plus, CSAT 80 plus, right? Mains 850 plus. Every single minute, single hour, single day, week, everything that you are going to spend as part of the journey is to achieve these figures. If you are not achieving these, right, you are not going to achieve your dream. Yeah, so for that depend on the last 10 to 15 year question papers. That is number 1.
Can the institute help us get references?
Yeah, 100%. Don't worry. So we'll get you connected with toppers. For example, psychology, we have topper. Botany, zoology, I'll find out. So if you know some toppers, we can get you connected. So we can get any toppers' phone numbers now. Don't worry about it, right? So what is the magic number for mains? 850 plus, right? So when you start writing essay, you must start writing essay as soon as possible. See 130 as your number. So 130 means getting 65 to 75 from my side or your mentors. Any essay you write, if you get 65 plus,
2 essays.
one essay 65 plus, right? That means you are nearing that competence, scoring 130 plus. Answers, GS answers, any out of 10 marks, 5 to 6 marks, out of 15, 7 to 8 marks. That should be your target. You write one single answer, you show to your teacher, sir, have a written answer which can get 5 or 6 marks. If they say 2, 3 marks, what can be done to improve it? So there is a way forward for everything. There is a solution. You just have to come and seek it. To seek it, you have to try it, right? So this is how things will work here. So be ambitious and try to crack this examination in one attempt. It is a possibility, and to improve in every area, starting with prelims, CSAT, mains, every part of the mains, interview. This one place offers solutions to all your doubts. Make it more interactive, right? And as I said, don't ignore the interview part. So develop reading habit. Going forward, develop writing habit also, not answer writing, but writing opinion about any issue, general writing, right? So that is a good way of developing analytical and critical skills. So you can maintain a journal, diary writing, journaling, or a blogging. You can open a blog. There are free blogs available nowadays. You can open a blog and just once in a week, if you read a book, you write an opinion on the book, right? Even mere writing Google review also, right? That can be a writing, right? If you hate insights, write one paragraph. If you love insights, you write one paragraph, why you like it, right? You can write 1,000 word also, but in Google review nobody reads beyond one paragraph, right? So we don't force you, never, like it is voluntary. Whenever you feel like reviewing, you can visit our Insights IAS, Google map. Don't do it now or today. Experience for like 2 to 3 months. If you are really happy, then you can start giving the review, so that those who want to come can make up the mind, right? So do you have any doubts? Yes, very good. So in a day, you are going to spend 3 hours in a class, right? Sometimes 6 hours also when there is CSAT class, and when you join optional also, right? In addition to class, you must compulsorily spend at least 8 hours outside the class. That is the minimum, 8 hours every day. So I assume most of who are sitting in this classroom are giving full-time preparation, right? You are giving entire time of your day into preparation. You are not trying to balance with either job or education or work, anything, right? So everybody can afford 8 more hours. So let us fix at 12 hours maximum, 8 to 9 hours. So these 8 hours must be divided into 4 segments every day. So what are these 4 segments? One is current affairs, reading newspapers, right? The Hindu, right? And if somebody already have reading habit, newspaper reading habit, my personal suggestion, in addition to the Hindu, also read Live Mint or Economic Times. One more newspaper which mostly covers economic issues, right?
And is there any particular topic to focus on in the newspaper, or
Now, as I said in the beginning, read everything, first 2 months,
like even the sports part?
everything, read everything. For example, this year we have 3-4 sports question also. There is a question on chess, right? So read everything. So don't restrict to, see why I am asking you to read everything. You need to develop multiple interests. You have to develop deeper interest in sports, environment related issues, technology related issues, right? Live Mint, Economic Times, Live Mint or Economic Times, and compulsorily the Hindu.
So is it okay to refer Hindu app
If that is comfortable,
between hard copy and app?
I am not sure about it. I don't know. But you might miss some issues, because if it is e-paper you will have, but app I am not sure if they index every issue that is there in the. Better to buy a hard copy and read it. In addition, again, so listen very carefully. Every part of the newspaper is important, right? You will start identifying certain core interests. For example, if a newspaper is covering security issues, right? You may start developing interest in security issues, and that you can put in your DAF as keenly following security issues. DAF, detailed application form, as one of your hobbies. Or if you are too much interested in following anything related to climate change, right? You can also mention it as your hobby. So in the beginning, don't be selective in reading newspapers or following sports. You can mention as reading sports columns in newspapers as your hobby. It's a very reasonable, very good hobby also, right? So they would like to definitely talk about sports. So don't be very selective in the beginning. You have to develop multiple interests. So at least 2 hours, minimum 2 hours. If it stretches 3 or 4 hours, then also fine, out of 8 hours. But develop this interest. That is one component every day.
And like how to make points after reading.
See, in the very beginning, don't try to make notes. First 1 month or few weeks, don't try to make notes. But compulsorily you have to make notes going forward on selective topics which are directly related to the syllabus or related to your hobby. If you have developed certain interest, hobby, make notes for it, or anything that is related to the topic, make short notes. It is better to make, see, invest more hours. In the beginning you have to do it. So sometimes at the cost of maybe optional, sometimes maybe at the cost of CSAT, right? But this is your foundation to crack prelims, the paper which came this year. So this is the way forward, right? And then anyway you will any gaps which are there will be covered through our tests and through our classes. Anything new you might have missed will be part of the current affair question, or right. So 2 to 3 hours reading newspapers plus solving current affair quiz every day, right? That is one component. Second one is GS, following the classroom, revising the classroom notes and reading the same from the NCERT textbook. Now itself don't jump to Spectrum or Bipin Chandra and all. First complete NCERT. Anything, tomorrow Pradeep sir will start with modern history. After modern history, go back to NCERT. Anything related to modern history in any class book, class 6 to 12th, right? You read it. So don't just read the 12th book, okay? Just because it has more content. Read from the basics, class 6th also.
Mathematics is third to B.
Third?
Mathematics is third to B. The rest of it is 6 to 12.
Yeah, mathematics, yeah, class 3rd to class 8th. Rest all humanities, and also science also, if somebody is from humanities background, class 6 to class 9th science textbook you should read. Basic biology, basic chemistry, basic physics. 12th biology for ecology and biodiversity, right? So the third component is, so the second component is what? GS. The third component is the optional, okay. So now my suggestion is that don't immediately enroll for optional, everyone. 2 months give your time to GS, right? So whether we start in August or anybody start in August, better to enroll for optional in August, right? If you enroll for optional now, you won't have time to breathe, right? You won't do the things I am asking you to do. And if you don't start doing this, preparation will become mechanical, dry, right? You won't enjoy the essence of the, general studies, general awareness. You have to enjoy, you have to develop interest. So 2 months or even 3 months you give time for these. So in the month of August, you can enroll for optional. From that time you can start giving 3 hours every day. Now if you have already decided 1 hour to read related basic books. For example, if sociology is your optional, read NCERT sociology books 11th, 12th. If Kannada literature is your optional, you can start reading the novels that are mentioned in the book. Some basic reading, right? Going through previous year papers, just acclimatizing, making yourself familiar. The fourth very important component is the CSAT, right? CSAT every day minimum 1 hour. So start with 1 hour right now. So don't have to start with 2 hours. So 1 hour of CSAT every day is extremely important. So how will you start? As I said, previous year question papers, UPSC. Once you are done with previous year UPSC question papers, then move on to the class books, NCERT, class 3rd to, right? After that is also done, start solving questions from different exams. And as and when the classes start, they will make you solve questions in the class. They will also give you exercises. They will also give you tests. But it should be integral part of your day-to-day preparation. So there are 4 components: current affairs, general studies, optional and CSAT. There is 5th component, may not be day-to-day, right? Once in a week or twice in a month, So try to have a reading target of 2 to 3 books in a month. General books. You can start with simple books, like books by APJ Abdul Kalam, if you haven't read those books, right? Or if you are already into reading habit, reading different books. So based on the hobby you have developed, for example, if you have developed hobby in international relations, diplomacy, foreign policy, there are books written by our previous foreign secretaries, diplomats, right? There are books written by Jaishankar, Sham Sharan, right? There is one Vikram Sood. So you can select any books based on your interest. So don't try to read everything. So try to stay away from self-help books, right? So any self-help book you gain from those books is, you know very well, that lasts only till you complete the book, right? So 1 or 2 you can read if you want, but I really don't like when some people put reading self-help books as their hobby. So that is not a very mature. You should have done it in college days. Maybe for a few days you can do it if you want to just get into. There is some famous book now, Atomic Habits, right? You can read if you want to implement it. If you implement it, it is definitely going to yield a good result, right? But try to read books on the diverse topics, like on artificial intelligence, on foreign policy, on climate change, on geopolitics, development economics, right? On culture, art and culture, general, right? On democracy. There are books written on such kind of different topics. So you can develop any 3 different interests, right? And it works wonderfully well in your interview. When you have 3 interests, let us say you like reading about geopolitics, another you like to read about wars in general, like wars and civil wars, right? Maybe another interest you would like to read about emerging technologies, right? Maybe another about wildlife and animal behavior. Now if you have put them in your detailed application form as your interest and hobby, I can talk to you for 2 hours without getting bored. This is what is required in interview, your ability to engage the interview board. So there are 5 people in interview. If you can engage them, 5 people, so 190 plus is confirmed, sure shot. So to engage them, you should have this kind of diverse interest. So from prelims to interview, having this diverse interest is going to help you a lot. So give importance to this also, right? And don't come under the influence of your peer groups. Now what happens when you are reading in a reading room, when you are interacting with, so you start following what they are following, right? You forget whatever is being told in the class. Take whatever we discussed today as your guiding light, right? Some of you have noted down, very good, right? Somehow you can watch again the video if you forget, right? Keep coming back to these things, and if you are staying on track, following all these things, I assure you I will be doing mock interview for you in next October and November, 100%. I have that confidence, right? So wish you all the best. So I hope you've enjoyed this session or you learnt from session. Yes. Yeah, so he is asking another good question. How do we plan for the subjects that are over? Now let us say modern history is over. So what you need to do is that in the next cycle, when geography starts, for example, during that time you have to give half an hour to 1 hour for modern history. So instead of, you can either revise the notebook that you have created, or you can still keep going back to previous year questions. While doing geography, do previous year questions of modern history, or the test series which we give you access to, subject wise. Those questions you can take and keep solving. So the best way is to solve questions of previous subject that is already over when the new subject is going on, right? So you will actually develop that efficiency. So the newspaper which will take 2-3 hours, going forward it will take 1 hour, 1.5 hours to complete. So you will get a half an hour extra, 1 hour extra, right? Or you can make it weekly exercise also. So in a week, half day you can dedicate it to revise the previous subject, right? Indian Express is a good paper, but the Hindu is better, no? The Indian Expresses which we are getting is not The Indian Express, which is published in Delhi. They had a dispute. E-paper, you can read it. But because I prefer hard copy, here you can get hard copy of these paper, that is why recommended. Indian Express published in Delhi is also very good paper. So extremely good paper. If you can read that also good.
You told us to refer this 25 years, the previous paper, right? So is it provided by the institute, or if not, then where can we?
Amazon. On Amazon it is available. There is one book by Disha Publication. Mrunal Photo. So that is a decent book. We are coming up with our own book which will get published in another 2 months, but don't wait for it. Buy it. And also if you search my name in Amazon, Vinay GB question bank. So for every subject you have question banks. So they also cover last 25 years questions subject wise. So one source is preferred, right? But if you want extra practice, you can buy especially polity, environment and economy question banks. That's what I am saying. Polity, environment and economy. These 3 question banks in my name, which is there on Amazon, right? So they are published by Oxford University Press and Tata McGraw-Hill. So they are thoroughly checked for everything, plagiarism, original content, errors. They are very good question banks.
Which you used to refer that you wanted to?
There were no brilliant tutorials.
Brilliant was IIT, right?
No, they were giving for civils also, but it was not good. I used to refer to GK today.
Along with this preparation, every day we have to go through old question papers.
Every day, make it a habit. That's what GS component. I said no, 3 to 4 hours for 3 hours for GS. While reading NCERT, while reading class notes, include previous year questions.
Topic is going on in the class, we should go through that.
That can be that. It can be that topic or future topic also. Don't worry about it. You cannot strictly segregate only related topic. Yes, that is better. Any other questions? ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? Hungry? You can ask any other question.
How often should we keep revising these topics?
Which topics?
Like what we have made notes.
Till you can use them in your answer, right? Till as long like the previous year question, that is why act as a very good effective revision. So once you have mastered them, and then once you have remembered this topic, as he was asking question, no, if this topic gets over, when geography is happening, during that time you revise.
So we have to keep extra hours other than 8 hours to revise.
No, the ability to read things will actually improve. Fast reading. So within 8 hours, maybe you can give extra 1 hour, but you can accommodate these things. So this is the ideal way, what I have told you, right? But you have to invest. So who has the confidence here that whatever we discussed, you are definitely going to implement, in letter and spirit without fail? Almost everyone. I would like to see everyone at least few times before prelims, in my cabin, coming and showing your answers, anything, general, GS answers of any subject, essay, right? If I don't know the content, I will tell you about the structure and presentation. If I know about content, I will tell you how to improve it. But essay, any topic you can bring anytime, right? So try to stay one step ahead of the race. Remember that everyone has raised hands in the classroom. So that is you didn't raise, why?
I can't predict future.
Fine. So those who raised your hands, remember that it is kind of a promise, right? Accountability. So now you have made accountable to yourself and to me also. And you should remember, whenever, see, it is okay to fall down, slip now and then. But largely you keep up these targets and promises, right? So even if you achieve 70-80% of what we discussed, right, you are through this race. Okay, so don't get discouraged because people are creating some hype around these things, and I have already given you solution. I don't want you to get stuck here, right? So I was very honest with that. 1.5 years or maximum 2 years, then you can go with higher education, or so you can go with higher education. And if you stop dreaming about IAS, through higher education you can achieve better things than IAS. There are opportunities, right? So Geeta Gopinath, right? Once she was an IAS aspirant, IMF chief economist, Geeta Gopinath, right? Now she is the IMF chief, not just chief economist. She is from Mysore. She was an IAS aspirant. 1 or 2 attempts she quit and she went into, got higher education from best universities in US. And today, so I have seen people have to take appointment to meet her, even the finance ministers from all around the world, right? It's a great achievement. So similarly, you have seen Dr. Manmohan Singh, right? So not IAS or IPS officer, but because of higher education, they were able to go on to become prime ministers. Raghuram Rajan, RBI governor, right? So now this present government is also giving opportunity for people who are really specialized in particular disciplines which are crucial for governance. So they are getting integrated, right? Even if they are very young. So one of the chief economic advisors, I forgot his name, like he was just in his 40s, I think, right? So be very ambitious. IAS is not the end. While you stay here, you give your best, right? Make it a possibility. If that is not there, there is whole life ahead of you. For that also I give you guidance if you want, whenever you want. So don't think that this is the end, right? So no, that I will take different class, right? So maybe I will take or Faris sir will take. When you come with your essay, I will individually discuss, because it will take more than 1 hour to discuss, right? So wish you all the best. Okay, thank you.